So today we got a push mower, walk behind. It's not really a push mower, it's a walk behind. It's got a Honda engine on it. Customer said it wouldn't run. Now the first thing, you know, I hate to admit this, but if you're going to work on lawnmowers, you need to know this. He brings it over and the rope is not tied to the handlebars. And so he says the rope won't retract, and it was just kind of dangling here. So I showed him that the rope needs to be there. And so then he tried to pull start. He says, this thing is impossible to start. It won't pull. And I thought, oh, it's probably the valves. The valves make it tough to pull sometimes. And so he tries to pull it. Well, he didn't engage the mower shutoff bar there. There is a brake. Not only does it shut off the mower, but there is also a brake to stop the rotation of the flywheel. And so if you're not holding that down, that brake is engaged. It makes it very difficult to pull. I guess he just didn't know. I mean, I don't understand how he didn't know, because he is running it. Somebody's running it. So anyway, got it over here. And I tried to start it. It wouldn't start. Put some starting fluid in the carburetor. Fired up for a second. So that tells me there's a carburetor issue. I also just noticed that it has ran out of gas. There's no gas in it, even though I put some in it. So the bowl is probably leaking. Something's leaking on the carburetor. So we'll get a new carburetor on this. And now this is a Honda, and Honda carburetors are terrible assembly. There's a lot to do, so I'm going to do it a little different this time. When I put the carburetor on, I'm going to roll the engine. I'm going to roll the mower onto its side, and you can roll it on its side as long as the carburetor is up in the air. If you bring the carburetor down, oil will run out of the carburetor. There's a hose on the back that has to be disconnected of the air filter. Okay, so when you do this, you want to examine your linkages. So we have a linkage here, and we have a linkage here with a spring also, and that spring is in a separate hole from the linkage hole. This is the choke. Yep. This has a shut-off valve. We're going to shut the gas off so we can remove the gas line. And I think So I've inspected all of the gaskets on this, and they are in really good shape. So instead of risking messing it up by putting new ones on, I'm going to reuse the old ones. It's just a safer method if you can reuse good stuff. Because the Honda, there's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 gaskets you got to hold, plus the carburetor, plus this. You got to get it all lined up. So it's very challenging, and I don't see the reason in doing it if you don't have to. So the first thing we're going to do is hook up the linkages, which could be a challenge in itself. I gotta put that clamp back. The hose clamp for the gas. Gotta get it on there. There we go. I got it. Alright, since I don't have to hold all the gaskets, I'm going to refrain from tipping it on its side. I'd just rather not, because it does make the oil run all over the place. So if I can't get it at that point, then I'll just go ahead and put it on its side. I think I'm getting it. Now we don't want to forget about this hose, so we got to deal with that in a minute too. Okay, I'm just going to let it sit there so I can get that hose on. Okay, that's on. We're going to get this bolt put back. And a new air filter. A pro and never make a mistake, and others appreciate when I admit my mistakes. So I'm going to admit my mistakes. I think it's better that everybody understands that everybody can make a mistake, but this back plate was on incorrectly. It's still on incorrectly. I'm trying to figure out how to get it on correctly, and I'm going to watch my video on how I took it off. So when I tried to start it, there was a big gap that wasn't sealed, so it would just suck a lot of air, and I couldn't keep it running without the choke fully engaged. So I'm going to work on this, try to figure out how to get that back plate back on. It's running like a champ now. So what I did was I took the air filter housing off, and there's spacers right here in that hole. I took those spacers out and I put it on the bolt. That way I could see what was going on, because I was pretty sure I messed up. And I did. What I did was I flipped that back panel backwards. That's all it was. So you might see this tab over here. It was over here. Once I fixed that, it started right up. So now I'll put the air filter housing back on, and we'll I got to sharpen the blade, and then we'll take it for a test cut. So I got it up and running. It's doing great. Got the blade sharpened. I'll test drive it later. I got to get a mower here in a few minutes, and the grass is wet, so I'll wait until it dries out. We'll mow, but I don't think it's going to have any issues. It's running really nice. So if you'll click this up next box, take you to a video I was working on something, so I hope I can inspire you to make mistakes so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.